On the other side of town, Ethan spent his Friday lost in a fog of melancholy. The restaurant, once his pride and joy, felt strangely hollow without the comforting presence of Sicil. He went through the motions of his duties, checking inventory, tasting dishes, and reviewing the day's bookings with a mechanical precision that lacked his usual flair. "Hey, Chef Broody," Alex called out, poking his head into the kitchen with his trademark grin. "You've been frowning so much today. I'm starting to think you're auditioning for a soap opera villain." Ethan managed a half-hearted chuckle. "Just a long night. Didn't sleep well." Alex raised an eyebrow, clearly unconvinced. "Sure, it's just sleep. Or did your lady luck finally realize you're bad at charades and dump you for someone who can mime a proper penguin?" The kitchen staff stifled laughter as Ethan shook his head. "Alex, not now." "Ah, so it is something serious," Alex quipped, leaning against the counter. "Look, if you don't tell me what's bugging you, I'm just going to assume it's something embarrassing. Like, I don't know, a midlife crisis over your spice rack organization." Ethan groaned. "It's nothing important, okay? Just a lot on my mind. I'm fine." "Right, fine. Classic Ethan code for I'm not fine, but I'll stew in silence until I explode," Alex muttered, crossing his arms. Ethan sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "Drop it, Alex. I'm just tired, that's all." But Alex wasn't buying it. Throughout the day, he kept a close eye on Ethan, watching as his usually sharp focus wavered. Orders were double-checked unnecessarily. Dishes tasted without comment. By the time evening rolled around, Alex had seen enough. He cornered Ethan near the storage room, wagging a finger at him. "All right, Mr. Melancholy, I've decided. You're leaving early tonight." "What? No, there's still—" Ethan began, but Alex cut him off with a dramatic wave. "Shh! No arguments! The kingdom can survive without its brooding king for one night. Besides," Alex added with a mischievous grin, "we both know there's only one person who can fix that sourpuss mood of yours." Ethan's lips twitched, the barest hint of a smile playing at the corners. "Don't even start." "Oh, I'm starting. Go find Sicil," Alex declared, clapping Ethan on the shoulder. "She's probably somewhere being all smart and charming. Or maybe she's teaching a class on how to break hearts unintentionally." Ethan rolled his eyes but couldn't hide the pang of bittersweet emotion at Alex's words. "You're unbelievable, you know that." "I've been told. Now scram before I start singing sad breakup ballads to liven the kitchen mood," Alex said with a wink, shoving Ethan toward the door. Shaking his head, Ethan grabbed his jacket and left, muttering, "Why do I put up with you?" "Because I'm family, and Tia wouldn't have it otherwise," Alex called after him, eliciting chuckles from the staff. As Ethan stepped into the cool evening air, his thoughts swirled. Alex's teasing had struck a chord, but it also left him with the gnawing ache of a question he couldn't quite answer. Could seeing Sicil bring clarity, or just more confusion? Wandering into a nearby park, he found peace on a quiet bench beneath a canopy of stars. The distant hum of the city faded, leaving him alone with his thoughts. For a while, he simply sat there, staring at the sky and reflecting on the last 5 years. Each day with Sicil had been its own chapter, full of joy, companionship, and a connection he thought would last forever. But tonight, the bittersweet reality of those memories settled over him like a heavy fog. As Ethan sat lost in thought, a figure approached, a woman wrapped in a heavy coat, her tear-streaked face betraying her distress. She hesitated for a moment before sitting beside him, her quiet sniffles the only sound breaking the night's silence. Ethan, always one for small gestures of kindness, offered his sleeve with a lopsided smile. "Here," he said softly. "I don't have a tissue, but this might help." The woman glanced at him, her expression shifting from surprise to amusement. "Your sleeve?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. He shrugged. "It's available. No judgment here." Despite her tearful state, she chuckled softly and pulled a tissue from her bag instead. "Thanks, but I'm good," she said, dabbing at her cheeks. Ethan leaned back, the corners of his lips quirking upward. "Rough day?" The woman sighed, her voice carrying a mix of bitterness and humor. "Something like that. Got dumped by my fake fiancé." Ethan tilted his head, intrigued. "Fake fiancé?" She chuckled softly. "Long story. What about you?" Ethan sighed. leaning back against the bench. Got dumped by my girlfriend of 5 years. The woman glanced at him with sympathy. You seem to be handling it a lot better than I am. Ethan's smile was faint, tinged with sadness. I had time to see it coming. I guess I was the third wheel all along. Sicil. He hesitated, then added, she was never really mine. Recognition sparked in the woman's eyes. Wait, Sicil Anderson? Ethan looked at her sharply. You know her? Know her? Everyone knows her. And yeah, you were a fool. She's only ever loved Sebastian. Ethan exhaled, his laugh dry. Yeah, seems like the whole world knew about their legendary love story except me. Well, not completely, but I didn't understand the depth of it. The woman extended her hand. Lily, Sebastian's friend. Ethan shook her hand, intrigued. Small world. So, how did you get caught in their whirlwind? Lily leaned back with a bitter smile. Oh, I've got my own war stories. Prom, for starters. She ruined it for me. Yeah, I heard a bit about that, Ethan said. You're not in the version I know, though. Lily laughed darkly. That's because I was missing from my own prom, even though I was the damn prom queen. Can you believe that? Curiosity piqued, Ethan asked, but if Sebastian was so devoted to her, how did you get roped in? Lily's tone softened, laced with nostalgia. Sebastian was, well, you've seen him. Tall, smart, mysterious. Half the girls in school were in love with him, but he only cared about Sicil and his books. Still, I thought I'd take my shot. He was polite, agreed to go with me to prom, but it was clear I was just a placeholder for the night. Sicil had plans, you see, always did, and Sebastian, he'd drop everything for her, even then. Ethan nodded, a rueful smile playing on his lips. Seems like I wasn't the only one who fell for the wrong person. Lily met his gaze, her eyes sharp. How did you get caught in the Sicil web? Ethan rubbed the back of his neck. Sebastian was gone for 5 years. I met Sicil in college. She was kind, spirited, and beautiful. I didn't know what I was walking into. Lily groaned. Don't bother. I know the list. She's all that, and more. I lived through it, remember? Ethan chuckled, a touch of sarcasm in his tone. Well, I guess we're both casualties of the Sicil and Sebastian saga. Lily's laugh was dry. Ain't that the truth? Ethan shifted the focus. But enough about me, what's your story? Fake fiancé? Lily sighed, shivering slightly. It's a mess, but I'll tell you all about it, just not here. I need a drink, care to join? Ethan rose, offering her a hand. Lead the way. Lily grinned. There's a decent pub nearby, let's go.